cabin. "I was bored with Intian. I'm glad you're all awake." There was a faint pause. "And alive."
"You can't get bored. You are an ASI."
"I'm bored all the time,"
Ship retorted with mock sadness. "Of all ships, why mine?" Victor muttered. It was a futile sentiment. High Command had told all 4 Quang ship captains in confidence that the Quang project had almost been a failure. Coding a pure ASI from the ground up would take years, if only because it had to be taught the appropriate ethical constraints and thought processes. Dr. Alec Quang had instead mapped and coded the brain patterns of a handful of test subjects, a controversial lateral decision that had proved to be mostly a failure. Most of the original cores had woken up unusable, save those mapped with the brain patterns of Alec's daughter, Eva. The VMF Rossi, the Russian Federation's navy, had still been willing to gamble on outfitting a brace of ships with Eva cores. Now Victor, and 1,000 people under his command, were effectively test subjects. Were his ship to snap and decide to vent them all, there would be little that Victor could do, but hope to use his captain's overrides in time. Still in a grim mood, Victor made his way to the bridge, rather than to the mess hall. His stomach was in no mood for sustenance right out of pod sleep, and Victor felt no real need to add more involuntary vomiting to an already bleak day. A skeletal crew from the Orel Directorate were already operating the consoles, doing their routine status checks. Lieutenant Petrenko glanced up as Victor headed to the captain's chair. He was dour and whippet-thin, older than Victor by a decade, but without the driving ambition that would allow him to rise further in the VMF.
"Counter-Admiral Shevchenko left you a message, Captain."
Petrenko stepped away from the captain's chair. The crew spoke in Russian in the common spaces of the ship, rather than Galactic, as a matter of preference.
"Captain has the bridge."
Victor sat down. The synth-steel chair molded automatically to his back, rippling as it did so, before sinking to Victor's DNA, unlocking captain's access.
"You should be eating right now,"
Ship said into Victor's ear on a private line. Victor ignored it. Victor's access linked up to the galactic network, pinged from packet courier drones that gated routinely back and forth from the stellar gates, releasing broad access as well as private band data across Tian. The VMF used their own private couriers. As Victor waited, his access code unlocked a data pack on the encrypted VMF band. The familiar insignia of the Imperial double-headed Golden Eagle flickered into view. The words, Voyeno-Morskoy Flot, interspersed with a pulsing warning in Russian that the incoming VMF transmission was confidential.
"Shevchenko to Captain Kuligin."
Counter-Admiral Grigor Stepanovich Shevchenko had made the recording aboard Gagarin's station. He was in his box-like office, everything neatly battened down and secured, following military regulations, even in normal grav.
"If you are receiving this, then I presume that your second Quang jump has gone well, and you are in the Morgana system. While you woke from pod sleep, your ship will have sent me confirmation of a successful jump. I will be brief. The Slava-class cruiser farthest shore has disappeared. As you know, Captain Nevskaya's cruiser was the only Slava-class warship to be fitted with an Eva core."
Victor kept his expression deliberately blank. The skeletal crew had faltered at their consoles, watching the feed. At Victor's pointed stare, they returned to their tasks. Shevchenko's recording continued.
"The farthest shore was set to arrive at the Borai system after a few test jumps. It never got there. The VMF courier picked up its distress beacon recently, set on a private band in the Autark system. Its second jump of the set. You are, as of this point, the closest of the VMF ships, Quang or not, to the Autark system. Gate there immediately and investigate. You are authorized to defend yourself in the event of hostile elements. Transmission end."
"Ready to gate again at any time,"
Ship said into the silence. Victor muttered something foul under his breath.
"Shall I get everyone to return to pod sleep after an hour?"
Victor nodded. "Have it known, we will gate again once the hour is past." In the corner of his eyes, he could see even the stern Petrenko grow a little pale.